Anderson to tie, score! 48 and a half to go, and look at the Griffins bench across the way!
Everybody's up on their feet, and there is a huge huddle with 5 guys down below who just put it in. What a scary moment for those guys to go back and forth on a 2-on-1 with the empty net, but they get it to go. Grand Rapids were 48.5 seconds away from not only the first championship in Griffins history, but for the first for the city of Grand Rapids, which first hosted an IHL and now AHL team more than a half a century ago in 1950.
Is 16th of the playoffs, scored by number 27, Tomas Tatar. The assist goes to number 18, Joachim Anderson, and number 13.
What a perfect way to end it.
Oh, I can't believe Andy gave that back to him on a 2-on-1 with an empty net.
Play back underway, 35 to go. There goes the netminder again. Here's a wraparound. Oh, and a good save by Mrazek, and the net's been jarred loose.
Yep. And
they're going to call, well, let's see. It looked like he was pointing at the penalty box.
Yeah, I did too, but maybe he just means a face-off here.
Face-off to the left of the Grand Rapids net with 31.3 seconds to go in something we have been waiting a long time for.
Oh, folks, you should have seen the look on the Griffins bench when that went in. Everybody up, and as I look down here to the left of me at press row and K's, Chris Chelios, Ryan Martin, Yuri Fisher, the big crew of Red Wing people here. And we'll get a timeout now by Syracuse, try to find some miracle way to come up with 2 goals in 31.4 seconds.
Oh, my goodness. We're going to try and keep it together.
That's all right. That's all right. No need to keep it together on a night like this, my friend. Been a long time coming. Been a long time coming.
Now, as we mentioned, the DeVos family here, the Van Andel family is here. Wow.
Yeah, Red Wing brass, as we said. Lots of fans also. Griffin uniforms, Red Wing uniforms in the building. Here we go, folks.
Face off to the left of Mrazek.
31.4 seconds to go. Game 6 Calder Cup Finals. Crunch fans, all near 7,000 of them on their feet, trying to spur on a miracle by Syracuse.
It'll be Johnson and Joachim Anderson on the draw. 4-2 Griffins, 31.3 seconds remaining. The face-off control by the Griffins. A clearing attempt knocked down. Panic took a shot over the net. Mersek's going to pin the puck in the corner boards. 23 seconds remain. Now Palat knocked it loose. Centering attempt goes back behind the goal. De Keyser's going to carry it off the glass and out. 15 seconds remaining. This will be an icing call, but Glendening gets to the puck first. Larry Figurski, 100 games in the season. The emotions, the physical toll. Score! Joachim Anderson with 5.1 to go. There is nothing more gratifying, Larry, as a player, to go through what this team has gone through. But how about Griffins hockey fans? 17 years of Griffins hockey, Larry. Lots of success and memories, but nothing like this. Something that will last a lifetime. Nothing more indelible than what is going to happen in 5.1 seconds. Your Grand Rapids Griffins are going to claim the American Hockey League 77th Calder Cup title.
Well, Desjardins goes back to the net. The Griffins just exploded. They were up and cheering a while ago, but they knew that it was over there. Everybody jumping up and down. Helmets are off. They're ready. They're bouncing around like little kids. There's the drop of the puck.
And it's 2-1. It's over. October 5th, 1996. The Van Andels and the Bosses brought professional hockey back to Grand Rapids in the form of the Griffins. 17 years later, 1,477 games later, we are Calder Cup champions. The first ever professional hockey title for a team from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Congratulations to all of you back home. Savor it, folks.
That's right, West Michigan, and we're bringing a cup home, and this is not only for this team. All of you who have supported this franchise for 17 years, and I want to say to all of you who have supported pro hockey in West Michigan, especially Grand Rapids, for the 1950 to 56 Grand Rapids Rockets, for those of you who played and cheered for the Owls in the 70s, there is a celebration going down below us, and it is for all of you. West Michigan and Grand Rapids, you are Cup champions tonight.
Look at the joy.
Oh, my goodness.
On the Griffins down in the near corner to our right-hand side. A mass of humanity out on the ice, at least down to our right. The Syracuse Crunch players waiting patiently around their own net to our left, and Stacey Rooston among them, the former Griffin, who of course scored one of the biggest goals in franchise history in the 2003 conference finals against Houston, a double overtime game winner in Houston. Well, there's got to be a side of him that feels good. Anytime you play in Grand Rapids, Larry, there's a part of your heart that will always be there because it is a special town. It is a special franchise. And I know Stacey feels good for this Griffins team and the organization. What a night. What a run for the Grand Rapids Griffins in Game 100. They are Calder Cup champions.
And as the hugging continues, the line begins. The two teams coming out for that great moment in hockey playoffs where the handshakes come after an incredible series and a great battle between two excellent teams. And a very respectful Syracuse Crunch team stood back and waited, and now are congratulating the Griffins in the road blue and red uniforms. Some still out there hugging jubilation here in Syracuse. Oh, is it going to be a fun night here and back in Grand Rapids?
Oh, how good do you think Jeff Hogan feels and Nathan Page feel? How good do you think we feel for those guys, Larry? And this has been, without a doubt, in my 34 years of broadcasting, the most special season, with all due respect to the previous 33 and the thousands of players that I've had the pleasure of working with. Nothing will ever compare to this. An incredible group, and never a team that I could think of more deserving of a championship, and a coach in Jeff Blashill who just pushed all the right buttons in his rookie season as a professional hockey coach. In my screen, there are text messages coming across like crazy on my phone right now, Larry.
The carpet has been rolled out. The table's out. The cup will soon come out. And in just a few minutes, Jeff Hogan is going to hoist it and become the first Griffin to do so. And he will be followed by numerous others on a historic and magical night for your Grand Rapids Griffins.
How about Frankie Perry, Larry?
A guy who's been here forever. What a thrill. Folks, I tell you what, I got some TV responsibilities to go downstairs. I just wanted to say, Kays, on behalf of all of you, thank you so much for letting me be a part of this, not only tonight, this playoff run, but for the past 14 seasons. I've covered this team since day one, and to be a part of it in my own little way for 14 years has been a big treat for me. I so appreciate it. Have fun. I will see you when we get back from the ice, buddy. I'm going to go down and get some pictures. We'll see you on TV tonight, folks.
Have fun, Larry. Thanks, son.
Take care, guys.
Well, it's happened. Finally, it's happened. What a crowd. What a crowd here in Syracuse. Everybody, no one's left, 6,300 plus, to savor this. Win or lose, these people and, of course, our great fans in Grand Rapids saw some incredible hockey. And what a game this was tonight. The goal that mattered the most in this one, Brennan Evans, from the left point through traffic, breaking the tie at the 9:54 mark, and then the Griffins added a pair of empty netters to put this thing away, and they are indeed the Calder Cup champions of 2013. And the celebration continues down to my right. We will keep it right here. We're going to be with you for as long as we possibly can be. The team will be flying home tonight. My understanding is arriving back in Grand Rapids at Frontier Air somewhere around 1:30 or 2. If I can get more confirmation on that, we'll certainly pass it along. But the Griffins are bringing the Calder Cup to Grand Rapids, Michigan. Dan DeVos and his wife Pam, their son Cole and daughters, all making their way onto the ice down below me here to our left. Pam DeVos looking up here, and the thumbs up and a huge smile on her face. And the feeling for Dan DeVos and his wife Pam and the Van Andels, Dave and Carol, and what they have put in to this franchise since they announced that they were bringing pro hockey back to West Michigan in January of 1995. And here we are in June of 2013. And there is a championship to finally talk about for the Griffins. And I'm making contact with several of the players, and we're looking up this way. As well as Tim Gortsma, Scott Gorsline, who have been with Dan DeVos since year one. And Tim Gortsma, who is the senior vice president of this organization, he along with Lisa Better, employed by the organization way back in the very beginning and have been there for 17 years. Let's see if we can listen into Dave Andrews. Hopefully we can pick up the feed down there. He is presenting Tomas Tatar with the MVP trophy. We talked about it. Larry Figurski thought he was the guy that would deserve it, and sure enough, he has claimed the MVP. Certainly others would be a strong consideration, namely Peter Mrazek, but it is Tatar with his league-leading 16 goals, including 2 here tonight. And the Griffins now surrounding Tatar.
Fans, thank you for your support in the finals again.
This is Dave Andrews,
DeVos,
league president.
Grand Rapids Griffins, the Detroit Red Wings management, Coach Jeff Blashill. Congratulations on a record-breaking year for the Grand Rapids Griffins. Jeff Hogan, come on forward and get the cup.
Oh boy, what a moment this is. Mr. Andrews picks up the cup, hands it to Jeff Hogan. They'll take a few pictures right down below me, out at center ice, on the carpet. There it is. He hoists the Calder Cup. It is officially yours, folks. The Calder Cup is coming to Grand Rapids. And now he will make the lap around, and man, is he one happy captain as well he ought to be. What an amazing job this guy did. The ultimate captain. We've had some good ones. Matty Ellis, Jamie Tardif. But I think, and most guys will tell you, and there's several veteran players on this team that have been around a long time, and all of them will tell you he is the best captain they have ever been associated with. He's got the cup right now down to our right-hand side, and up next to get it is Nathan Page. First time ever in a finals in his great career, and now he finally gets a chance to hoist a championship trophy in the form of the American Hockey League's Calder Cup. What a historic moment. And there's Brendan Evans. His goal, the game winner. The game winner, Brendan Evans, who, as many of you know, did not score a goal in the regular season, played every one of the 76 games. He played all 24 in the playoffs. 100 games for Brendan Evans, and his goal at the 9:54 mark of the third period broke a 2-2 tie. That is the game winner in a 5-2 win here in Grand Rapids, or here in Syracuse, for the Grand Rapids Griffins. And now with the cup is Frankie Perry. What more can you say, and how emotional he's going to be, no doubt. Just winning the Western Conference crown against Oklahoma City. You'll remember in the post-game interview with him, he and I both breaking down. He started breaking down. I started breaking down. I told him, I can't help you, buddy. There was dead silence for 12, 14 seconds. Nathan Page and Frankie Perry come together. Now Landon Ferraro's got the puck, or the cup down to our right. All of his players surrounding him. Nobody's doing any significant laps with the cup. They're just kind of circling around within a 20-foot radius or so. And on that ice, as we mentioned, the DeVos family, Larry Figurski down there, and a chance to celebrate with all the Griffin personnel. And text messages just continue to pour across my phone. Bob Swintal, our good friend from Subway. Steve Kelly, who does such a phenomenal job on the morning show at Wood. And there are messages coming from people I'm not even sure who they are. My sons, Charlie and Sam. All right, that got me. Brad Thompson's got it now. The sacrifices that families of these guys make, including mine. And it's no wonder that we show the emotion we do at such a special time, and there is nothing more special than what we are witnessing down below right now. A good number of the Griffins staff is on the ice right below me. They're all looking up this way. And now John Bernal, the Griffins trainer, with the cup, hands it over to Peter Mrazek. Oh, you might hear the big scream out of Peter. Needless to say, he's very excited. This is something very special, to say the least. Mitch Callahan now hoisting the cup. And the Griffins, I'd say about half of them now have had a chance. We'll just keep it right here until they're done and then make their way off the ice. Obviously, pictures are still going to be taken. We'll find the right time. We hope to get some guests here in our post-game show. The only concern is that the team is scheduled to leave here not long from now. The club will be going back to its hotel to pack up their rooms. Of course, they left clothing in their rooms. Although I think there were a handful of guys that actually packed just the confidence of feeling like they were going to win this game tonight and get it done and head home, and that's exactly what wound up happening. So some guys forecasting a win don't have to worry about going back and packing up. But there will be a team meal, and I'm sure a few beverages to be had at the hotel before they head to the airport and board Redbird 3. And heading back to Grand Rapids, Michigan tonight. And again, expected to arrive sometime in the 1:30 to 2 a.m. hour. Frankie Perry now heading down to the near corner. Obviously, we've got all the TV stations are here doing live interviews and live shots from Syracuse, and I'm sure they are on the air right now. Back home, interrupting anything going on, as this is no doubt a extremely historic night in Grand Rapids, Michigan, for a first ever hockey title is now yours in the form of the American Hockey League's Calder Cup. Brent Reddicky out on the ice. All the Black Aces are in full uniform. They had a separate dressing room during these days in Syracuse, and of course all of them skating and skating hard just in case. The injuries, of course, might happen. But boy, that's one of the success stories, no doubt, of this postseason. The fact that the Griffins did not encounter many injuries. Adam Almquist was one of the few casualties, and about the only other change in their lineup throughout these playoffs was when Brian Lashoff came back. And then, of course, Danny DeKeyser. Andrew Stegheist, the Griffins' assistant equipment manager, now has his turn with the Calder Cup down below us here, as the joy that is very much evidenced down on the ice right now is something. And there's Jeff Blashill. I cannot say enough about what a job this first-year head coach has done with these Griffins. Jeff Blashill now hands the cup over to Jimmy Peck. 7 years, and look how excited he is, jumping around with that thing. And there is incredibly genuine excitement in Jim Peck for a guy who won 2 Stanley Cups with the Pittsburgh Penguins. And now Jim Peck hands the cup to Spiros Anastas, who is one of those guys that, probably not a lot of fans know, but trust me, you should. He's a wonderful man and did a great job behind the scenes with this Griffins team. Now Billy Leroy, the video coach, is going to get his turn with the Calder Cup down below us. And just about everybody has had their chance to hoist that cup. Brad Thompson, I'll tell you, I thought it was a real neat moment when Brad Thompson, who is without a doubt loved by this team and every player that has ever played in a Griffin uniform, because he just simply does as good, if not a better job than anybody else in the business. And now they hand the cup. How about this? Dan DeVos now with the cup, and that draws a huge roar from the players and everybody else that's on that ice. As we mentioned, the DeVos family, several media. Steve Amorose is here from Channel 17, and Larry Figursky, obviously, from Wood TV. The cup now handed to Cole DeVos, Dan's son, who is a pretty darn good hockey player as well. And he too now with the Calder Cup. And who does it go to next? Well, Dan DeVos has it back and just says, hey, Cole, you hang on to it for a bit. Man, oh man, what a scene, what a sight, something we have been waiting so long for. And there is no question the emotions of this are absolutely incredible. And now Griffin's other personnel, fans, actually making their way onto the ice now to savor this victory. As now the formal picture that you'll see all over the place. Your Grand Rapids Griffins are the 2013 American Hockey League's Calder Cup champions as they huddle around, and a horde of media now taking those photos that will live forever in Grand Rapids Griffins franchise lore. Champions of the AHL are your Grand Rapids Griffins on this June 18th, 2013. We will take a break. Our post-game show, we don't know how long it's going to be. I got a feeling it may not be that long. We will, though, try and let you know the details as to when the team may arrive, where they will arrive, as they will be flying back on Redbird 1 to Grand Rapids Gerald Ford International Airport, and they will have a nice little trophy with them when they get back. Calder Cup champs, the Grand Rapids Griffins. You're listening live to the Van Griffins Calder Cup Championship Hockey on Wood Radio. Stay with us. The post-game show comes up next. Well, back here again in Syracuse, the Grand Rapids Griffins are heading off the ice right now. Down below me to our left is the Calder Cup champions of the American Hockey League. In this, their 17th year of operation, the Griffins have got that first ever championship. Jason Chamovich from the league office, one of the very best in the business, has brought me a championship hat, and I can't thank him enough for that, as it has been a long time coming, no doubt. And what a great league, 77 years. We are very proud to be a part of it now for 12, and our first ever visit to the Calder Cup Finals is some kind of experience here tonight in Syracuse. I am told we are going to probably need to get out of here fairly quickly, so not sure about any post-game interviews. The team will be going back to its hotel to pack up, get out of their rooms, have some food, and I'm sure a couple of cold beverages, and then we'll board Redbird 3 to get back to Grand Rapids and really savor what has happened here tonight. A series that saw them jump out to a 3-0 lead and looked like they were cruising, had 2 chances in front of a raucous, sold-out building in Van Andel on Friday and Saturday. Unfortunately, the Crunch showing what they are made of. Half this team having won a championship in Norfolk last year, and now they tried to make it 2 in a row, but they were cruising for the Eastern Conference side of this, but they run into the Grand Rapids Griffins, and certainly the Crunch gave the Griffins a scare by winning games 4 and 5 in Grand Rapids, but it is the Griffins who prevail in a very hostile environment here. Over 6,000 fans at the Onondaga War Memorial as the Griffins get it done. No worries about a Game 7 as they get it done in 6. We'll pause and come back, continue along with our post-game show brought to you by the Bob. As the American Hockey League season is over, the Grand Rapids Griffins are Calder Cup champs. Stand by. More coming your way live from the Onondaga War Memorial in Syracuse after this. Well, back again to recap what happened tonight. It was just another hockey game, right? Just another night in Grand Rapids Griffins franchise history. Something that for so long we've been waiting for, and to see it unfold right in front of our very eyes. Yes, would it have been nice to do it at home? Of course. In the perfect world, the fans wanted so badly to win the thing at the Van Andel Arena in front of you, and incredible fans. But, hey, they win it, and you'll get to savor this trophy. Trust me, we'll have announcements, I'm sure, in the coming days as to the celebration that will happen. Not sure the details yet, but it'll be all over the news. You can be assured of that, and of course at griffinshockey.com. So just follow, pay attention, and we will have the celebration to take place in Grand Rapids for all you deserving fans, especially for you season ticket holders who have been coming from year number one. I mentioned Tim Gortsma and Lisa Vetter and so many other front office staff that work their tails off day in and day out, winter, summer alike. And the fans who make a huge commitment to this cause certainly fall into that category of being the most deserving of this championship. All right, it was Game 6. A quick rundown for you before we get out of here. The Griffins, of course, a little bit of pressure applied to them. The Crunch winning games 4 and 5 to stay alive and extend this series back here to Syracuse. Game 6 tonight. It was the Crunch who got on the board first at 17:15 of the opening period. Richard Panik, his 9th of the postseason. It was Teyermina and Palad who got the assist on it. And that goal gave Syracuse a 1-0 lead. The shots were 9-7 in the opening period for the Crunch. But the Griffins came back in the second period, and the guy that got him going was Mitch Callahan, who had himself a terrific game tonight. Callahan fought off a defender, had the puck, and from a knee lifted a shot from in close into the upper right-hand corner of the net. It was Callahan's 6th from Ferraro and Grant at 2:23 to tie the game at 1. Griffins then went ahead. 12:41 into period number 2, and why not? The guy that turns out to be the MVP of the postseason, he too had a big night. His 15th of the season put the Griffins on top. 12:41 into the second period. Griffins now with the puck on the draw and the power play. Left circle down to our right. Here's Ferraro. Scooped the pass neatly back to Billings. Top of the near circle to Nyquist. Now Nyquist back to Billings. Down the high slot he goes. Far circle for Ferraro. Backs off. Now across to Nyquist in the right circle. The pass in front. Score! Tomas Tatar. Power play goal. 12:41 into the second period, and the Griffins have come back and lead this game 2-1.
Boy, what a great job just moving the puck around out of the perimeter. Didn't take any chances, had possession of it, kept going side to side. They took advantage of the space, and eventually Gus double pumped, put the shot, and I think he's looking really for Tatar on a redirect out in front in the first place. The shot kicked away by Desjardins. A defenseman complaining, gets knocked over by Tatar, and Tommy there, Tats bangs it into the empty net, and the Griffins have a 2-1 lead with 7:19 to play here in period 2 of Game 6 of the Calder Cup Finals.
That power play goal, and the Griffins led it. Tatar's league-leading 15th of the postseason, and it stayed 2-1 Griffins through 40 minutes of play, and my goodness, reality was really starting to hit that the Griffins might well have their first title, something we've talked about for so long, in their grasp. However, the Syracuse Crunch down 2-1 came back in the third period and tied the game at the 5:14 mark. It was Schuster, a long shot from the blue line, Andre Schuster, and they scored a few of those types of goals. And again, an example, you let one go from long range, especially with traffic, and you never know what'll happen. Schuster found the back of the net, his second of the postseason, both of them coming in this series and both in this building. And that goal at 5:14 tied it at 2, and what a game that, it was a tremendous game to that point, but then it really got good after that. As the Griffins and Crunch went back and forth, so much at stake. The Crunch, of course, needing to win to extend this series to a 7th game, which would have been played here on Thursday. But with all due respect to Syracuse, the Griffins wanted no part of hanging around here any longer than they had to, and they would make sure, at least the step in the direction of ensuring they wouldn't have to, came at the halfway point of the third period. One of the very best leaders and one of the very best guys that I have been associated with in hockey, Brennan Evans, who did not score a goal in the regular season, got one earlier in the playoffs, and wouldn't you know it, his tally, this one at 9:54, will forever be the biggest goal in history. Callahan to Evans and a drive, score! Brennan Evans from the left point fires one through traffic. Wow. 9:54 into period 3, and the Griffins are back on top 3-2.
What did I just say? Put the puck on the net. That's a pretty harmless shot. It's not really a slap shot, not really a wrist shot, not even a snap. He just kind of floated it up there, gave it a quick snap, and he's literally just 3 or 4 feet inside the blue line, so that's 60 feet out. And it's much like a little bit of a different version of a shot, but much like the goal the Crunch just tied the game up on. Low, little traffic in front. It slides through. It's 3-2 Grand Rapids. 10:06 to play in regulation.
So that goal, Evans, his second from Callahan and Sheahan. And It put the Griffins ahead 3-2, but it was obviously far from over. Back and forth they would go. Certainly the Griffins, I thought, did a masterful job defensively, limiting Syracuse to many chances down the stretch. But it would go right down to the wire. A couple of minutes left, and a big break for the Griffins came with just under 3 minutes remaining in regulation time. And Gustav Nyquist was off to the races on a breakaway. The Crunch reached in and gave him a whack. Richard Panik, that is, slashed him. And the Griffins maintained control of the puck for a good 30-40 seconds. And what was key there is with just under 3 minutes to go, they were trying to get it down to that 2-minute mark so they would essentially finish the game on a power play. Well, they did get it down to 2 minutes and 13 seconds to go before the Crunch were finally able to get a hold of the puck. And so the Griffins went to work on a power play. The Crunch would pull their netminder, but all that did for them was make it even strength out in front of the netminders, 5-on-5. And the Griffins, with an empty goal, looking to hang on and record the biggest victory in the franchise's history. They go to the final minute of play with the Crunch and their goaltender sitting on the bench. Here's Mickelson winding it up. Brendan Mickelson to center, shot it in. Desjardins to the bench, the extra man on. The teams are 5 aside in front of the goaltenders. The Griffins have the puck and roll it to the line and out. Here's Tatar with an empty net ahead of him. Tomas Tatar.
There it is.
In front, Anderson. Tatar score! 48 and a half to go. And look at the Griffins bench across the way.
Everybody's up on their feet, and there is a huge huddle with 5 guys down below who just put it in. What a scary moment for those guys to go back and forth on a 2-on-1 with the empty net, but they get it to go. Grand Rapids were 48.5 seconds away from not only the first championship in Griffins history, but for the first for the city of Grand Rapids, which first hosted an IHL and now AHL team more than a half a century ago in 1950.
So the goal by Tatar, his 16th of the playoffs. Anderson and Nyquist assisting in 1911, and then the Griffins really no threat at all. The Crunch during the final half a minute of play, and the Griffins would make it official. At 1954, another empty net goal by Joachim Anderson, his third of the postseason. Luke Glendening got the lone assist, and that sealed it. At 1954, the final 6 seconds ticked off the clock, and there was sheer bedlam on that Griffin bench, and from literally a couple of hundred fans that made the trip here from Grand Rapids, and of course, including yours truly, along with my partner Larry Figursky, who are down in the dressing room right now, certainly savoring this very big night in Griffin's franchise history. The shots on goal in the game, 26-25 for Syracuse. The Crunch wind up 0 out of 6 on the power play, and the Griffins 1 for 4 in front of 6,300 plus, jam-packed into this building that seats only about 6,100, one of the smallest venues in the league. But, man, was it loud and electric, and a tip of the cap, and I've got one on. I've got that Calder Cup championship hat on. A tip of the cap to the Crunch and this organization and their fans. Between here and Grand Rapids, it was simply something to behold, the crowds in these facilities for what turned out to be certainly a terrific Calder Cup Finals. We'll take one last break, come back and wrap it up from Syracuse. I'd love to get some guests for you, but we're not going to have time at this stage. The team will be getting on Redbird 3 and flying back home. Still trying to get some confirmation as to what time the flight will arrive. I'm sure a lot of you would probably like to meet the team in Grand Rapids, so I would suggest, if I don't get the information for you, that you might call check the Griffins website at griffinshockey.com. I'm sure that information will be there. Joachim Anderson, Gustav Nyquist stepping back into the ice down below just to savor these moments. And if you ever doubted whether or not Gustav Nyquist and Joachim Anderson were genuinely excited about winning a Calder Cup, well, look at them right now as they certainly are very, very excited. They went through 2 grueling and emotionally draining Stanley Cup 7-game series against Anaheim, a series that the Red Wings won, and then losing in overtime in Game 7 to the Chicago Blackhawks. So they joined this team in Oklahoma City before Game 4, and certainly they would be a big part of the reason why this club turned their fortunes around. They had lost the previous 2 games, but they went on to knock off Oklahoma City, and eventually now to the Calder Cup Finals, where they are the champions of 2013. A couple of Final spots and a few more thoughts coming your way is from Syracuse. This is the action of the Calder Cup playoffs. The finals of the American Hockey League. It is over. The Griffins are Calder Cup champs, and back to wrap it up after this.